everyone, my name is Kat and today I'm going to be discussing Wings of Ebony by Elle. I chose to read this book because I really thought that the cover was absolutely stunning. I loved the gold and I loved the featured black protagonist on the cover. And I love that after reading the novel, I know where all the specific parts of her outfit come from, which I just think is really awesome. I also chose to read this book because two of my favorite authors actually wrote blurbs featured on the back, and that was Nicola Yoon, who wrote The Sun Is Also a Star, and Saba Tahir, who wrote the Ember and the Ashes series. I have super high respect for both of them, so hearing that they really loved this really sold me on this book. So in this story, we follow Rue, who grew up on East Row in Houston, Texas, until her mother was murdered. She lived with her sister, and once their mom died, they were unfortunately separated. Because they have different fathers, her sister Tasha went to her father's side of the family, while Rue was snatched away by her father that she had never known her entire life. When her father snatches her away from her home, he ends up taking her to his home, which is a magical city called Gazan, where a city full of powerful gods live. In Gazan, Rue is treated like an outcast, not just because of the color of her skin, but because she is half god and half human, which is not allowed. Everyone else on Gazan is way farther along in their magic than Rue is, and she has to do a lot to keep up. Fortunately, she's able to make one friend, whose name is Bree. And after a year of living on Gazan, Bree helps Rue travel back to Houston in order to see her little sister again. When Rue sees Tasha again, she leaves her a gift, trying to let her know that she remembers her and that she's thinking of her on the anniversary of their mother's death. However, as Rue watches Tasha, she witnesses a guy try to steal her away. In order to protect Tasha, Rue begins going back and forth between Gazan and East Row, trying to figure out who is trying to steal her sister. She ends up coming to the conclusion that the evil in Gazan and the evil in East Row is actually the same evil. This discovery leaves her nowhere to turn, because where is she supposed to go when evil is everywhere? This novel was absolutely wonderful. The blend of fantasy mixed with more of a realistic storyline, such as like The Hate U Give, just really made this novel something that I've never read before. I've never read any fantasy like this. Even though a lot of the novel does take place in Gazan, which is a fictional city, it does spend a lot of time in Houston, Texas, which I think is really cool. The fact that the author was able to include a real place with real issues going on. The novel touches a lot on police brutality, both in the real world and in Gazan. The novel also has a lot of commentary on how the young black kids of East Row are being forced into crime and violence, and also being pressured to either use drugs or sell drugs. The author was also able to use real-life horrible deaths that have happened, such as Emmett Till, in order to inspire the characters to continue fighting for their freedoms and their rights. The novel also touches on the issues that can arise from interracial friendships, specifically between Rue, the black main character, and Bree, a white Gazani. Overall, this novel preaches about the power found within black people. This novel really brought insight into a fast-paced, page-turning novel. I would recommend this to anyone, even those who don't like fantasy or who don't like realistic fiction, as there is about 50-50 of both, and they really add on to each other to make a very compelling story. I will definitely be picking up the second novel in this series, and I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. Thank you for watching, and be sure to read Wings of Ebony by Elle.